Hello and welcome back to another episode. And what I want to talk about today is scams and postal regulations and laws and customs and all those different things. And it's really, really boring. So I do apologize in advance. But if you are a new reseller or you're a seasoned reseller in the sense that you haven't sent anything overseas lately or ever, and you are considering it, I want to talk about that. So realistically, there are some videos floating around today. I watched Tori's video, the Geelong Flipper, watched my beloved Auction Professor video just a little bit earlier, and another one, his name's White, I think it's Flip, I'm not too sure, he's an American guy. So basically they talked about some common scams. The Auction Professor, love that guy. If you haven't already, checked him out. He doesn't post very often, however he's a wealth of knowledge and I think he's fantastic. So long story short, so I want to take care of what Tori was talking today regarding some scams. He was talking about a lot of his parcels, or a couple of his parcels have been shipped to America that have been problematic and obviously causing him some issues, which is obviously reason to be pissed off about and all those different things as well. So I want to, I suppose, reassure some people not to turn off your international postage. I can tell you right now, my business is probably sustained about 40 or 50% international postage. My 90-day total is probably, if you watch Tori, it's about more than 3 times his amount, right? And that's primarily because I sell internationally. If I didn't sell internationally, it would be in very dire consequences. It'd be very, very low. So giving you a bit of context, when I was doing this full time, and it has been a year since I've gone back to work, and I will give you my thoughts and reasons about what I think of that in a minute as well. But when I was primarily selling clothes and all those different things, like it was the fashion at the time, a lot of resellers jumped on the clothing bandwagon, like jeans and shirts and all these different things. If you want my honest opinion, I would steer clear of clothing, to tell you the truth. It is so common, everyone gets onto it because they watch their favourite YouTuber, they talk about clothes, they talk about DVDs, they talk about books. It's oversaturated. It's really easy. If it's easy to source and it's everywhere, it's probably not a good niche to be into. And that's primarily my point of view, so you can take it or leave it, I don't particularly care. So, going back to what Tori was saying, he's saying that a couple of his parcels, primarily a Lego set, we'll just say it was $200, I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, and a $6 or $12 book, all those different things. My first case in point is that you're really, and this is not for everyone, this is something you want to get to a mature state, unless you're a certain type of reseller, in the sense of saying, hey, look, move away from those low-cost ASP items and all those different things. If you are selling things, really, really, really make it worth your while to send it, or sell it. I have said previously that I do sell $1.99 Skylanders and all these different things, but they're primarily one listing. I do the work once and I just update the total. And what I have said numerous times before is people will actually come through and buy multiple quantities of listings. So they might put in an order for a $200 Skylander and another $100 Skylander, and what they'll do is they'll put a $1.99 Skylander as well to take advantage of my multi-quantity discount, which gives them 10% off their order. So that's why they exist in that capacity. If it was me just uploading a $1.99 Skylander plus postage, I would have been put myself out of business a very, very, very long time ago. So be very, very, very mindful that you really want to get to the state where you aren't sourcing those, from my perspective, less than $20 items. I'm not going to start spruiking, you need to make $20 profit on every item. That'd be that would be the dream. So probably admire to do all that, aspire to do that. But definitely stay away from those low ASP items. I have said numerous times with a little bit of controversy as well, is that I don't want to sell to poor people. And I know it sounds horrible, I know it sounds derogatory, all those different things mixed in with that, but you're running a business. You're not running a charity. I have sold Skylanders for $1.99 and I've sold Skylanders for $1,000, and I have said this numerous times before. The ones that I sell for $1,000, they disappear into the ether. They get sent to their item, never hear from them again, or unless they're a repeat buyer. They're happy, never a question. The $1.99 ones, People will leave feedback. They'll write a paragraph saying how fantastic it is. However, the shipping was quite exorbitant because it's going overseas. I can't control that. Or that, there's little paint chips in them, which I already stipulated in the listing as well. All these different things. So they are quite finicky. They're quite, pains in the ass. Let's face it, right? So, but like I was saying, is that every high value dollar item that I've ever sold has never had an issue come back, in the sense that the buyers come back and say, hey, look, this is destroyed or this is wrong, all these different things. So very, very, very mindful of, if you are selling those low ticket items, I would try and learn a niche or learn a specific category or learn an item that you can replenish and go from that way. Opposed to just being an opportunist, going to a thrift shop, going to an op shop and picking up $1.99 things or $5.99 things or jeans that you can only make $3 or $4 profit on. Purely my stance. Like I said, I've been doing this for a fairly long time. I didn't blow in on the COVID train like a lot of other people have as well. That's not to dismiss their experience or their worth within the reseller community. I have seen it before, and I have seen it after that 2020 period as well. So that gives you kind of some credibility that I have been reselling for a little bit of time, right? So I want to get on top of that. So do not turn off your international shipping, especially to the UK, to Canada, to the US. Be very mindful of sending anything in a active war zone or civil unrest or something along the lines of that. Keep an eye on the Australia, well, especially if you're in Australia, the Australia Post update page, and normally it will have like a disruption thing saying currently, I think there's something going on in South Africa or somewhere over there at the moment that they're not accepting mail. They're doing something along the lines of that. Keep on top of this. You're running a business. You should be on top of this. You don't need to go to Facebook and ask questions. Say, hey, I can't send to Canada. What's going on with this? That's been resolved, by the way. So I'll be very, very, very mindful of that. Your business is for your business, right? So do the research yourself. By all means, ask some questions. And I have said numerous times as well, and I'm a little bit hypocrite in this respect, is that I will go to Reddit, get the initial information that I need, drum up some interest, but that is also a marketing strategy. That's a marketing ploy. Like I was saying with that book that I found, what sold for $1,000 previously, is that I'll go to Reddit, ask some questions about it, especially in those antique collectible book subreddits, I'm not too sure, and do some research, drum up some interest, drum up some marketing, because I might be able to take that item and sell it locally, or through Reddit or Facebook or something along the lines of that, where they pay me through PayPal and we're good to go. There's no eBay interaction, therefore no fees. So like I was saying, is that do not rely on Facebook, especially Facebook reseller groups, Facebook, all those different things to be your source of knowledge, And I have said that numerous times before as well, and I feel like I'm, to say like a broken record, is that I didn't know that the reselling community existed until about 2020, 2019. So I survived 6-7 years at that stage quite heavily without any interaction from other resellers in the space, like for Facebook and YouTube videos and all those different things. I did have some forums about forum posts, whatever you want to call them, for Lego, which we primarily talked about Lego. We didn't talk about how to sell Lego. We talked about maybe packaging and best ways for boxes and all those different things. But that was the extent of it. We didn't really puff our chests up and say how fantastic we are and join my channel membership. I don't have one, by the way. So what I want to do now is get on to another topic which was talked about by the auction professor, and not a lot of people in Australia know this. This is relevant to those people overseas as well. So if you are, from, my wife's saying something with kids, if you are from the UK or America, Canada, all those different places, this is relevant to you as well. But like I said, I'm just trying to focus it on the Australians at the moment. Like the auction professor said, that the postal services, and he said USPS and all those different things, it's exactly the same for Australia Post, and I dare say it's going to be the same for Royal Post and Canadian Post as well, is that the letters need to be in English or Roman or Roman numerals or Arabic letters in the sense of A, B, C, D, regardless of what the language is, but it needs to be You mightn't be able to pronounce it, but it needs to be written in English in some capacity. I have seen numerous orders come through China, through Japan. I haven't, well, he mentioned Japan, but I've basically seen it through China, is that it will be completely written in Chinese. Going to Hong Kong, going to mainland China, going to Japan, it will be in Japanese. Korea is pretty good. Well, I've never had any issues with Korea. However, like I was saying, is that if it's printed, like it's coming out in Chinese, it's coming out in Japanese, so it's Mandarin or, I want to say kanji, but I'm not too sure. Yeah, they will not accept that at the post office, I can tell you right now. I have had that in the past. What I would suggest is actually reaching out to the buyer, asking them for their English address, so you could actually basically tell them, look, you need to cancel the order because it's not, there's something wrong with your address. However, if you want to repurchase the order and put the address into English, you'd be more than happy to send it off. I have never had an issue sending things off to China, never had an issue sending off things to Korea or Japan, so that's not an issue from that way. Generally speaking, I find the Asian countries to be quite hospitable. Yeah, that's the right one. I don't want to say hostile. They've been an absolute pleasure. Like I said, that they're fantastic. They're always polite, and go from that way. So by all means, feel free to send it to Japan, Korea, and China off the back of my recommendation. However, what you will have problems with is Brazil. I cannot stress enough. If you have gotten this far, put Brazil on your block list now for shipping. Do not ship to Brazil. For example, if I send these to Brazil, which is a Skylander, it will come back. It is not permitted into the country. I can tell you from personal experience, this is not permitted into the country. It is a toy. It is a toy to life. This is an electronic toy. I've tried every different which way to do it, in the sense I put it down as a toy, I put it down as an electronic, I've used it as a Game Boy, a video game component, all these different things. It bounces back. And this as well, this is a Lego set, and you probably know this as well. They are not permitted into Brazil as well, because they're a toy. And something else as well I've tried, and this came out, a little bit of a backstory with this one. So these are Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. These are brand new and not factory sealed, but they're still within their packaging. My wife bought a Nintendo Switch 12 months ago. She just wanted to use her fluoro Joy-Con, so I basically pulled off the white ones out of the box, then sold them because I was going for a little bit of decent money back then. I don't know what they're going for now. I sent that in April last year to Brazil. It came back last week, and the box was absolutely smashed, in the sense it was like this. And if it had been anything slightly wider than a set of Joy-Cons, it would have been trashed. So like I said, is that I cannot stress enough, take Brazil off your list. I've never had an issue. With Mexico, I have had some issues before, but it's very hit and miss, so I probably would be very hesitant to recommend Mexico as well. Like I was saying, is just always check the custom declarations, check all these different things. It does come up saying that it is like maybe an restricted import and all these different things. I know I said that a lot. But like I was saying, is you need to be very, very, very careful with Brazil. Take it off. I've had nothing but issues with those. I've never had a successful item going through. So that's not to say it includes books or includes clothing. You need to be very mindful of clothing in the EU as well, because they do have quite tight copyright laws, and they might not take clothing. I don't know, I haven't checked it. I have heard that before, so do your own research. But going back to Brazil, those poor Brazilians are copping a beating. I have never had a successful parcel go into there without coming back. It always ends up in me having to give a full refund to the buyer. So in the sense that if it cost me $30 or $40 to ship it over there, it is lost money. You do not get back that. It is not Australia's Post or UPS or Canada Post or UK Mail or all those different things to reimburse you because it failed. It's gone to custom, they've done their job. Customs bounced it back. They will return to you in some time. Like I said, 11 or 10, 11 months, that particular Joy-Con did take to come back. So be very, very, very mindful of where you're sending things. Do your research and be very cautious of scams. Yes, you can protect yourself as much as possible. Personally, when it gets over a certain threshold, I normally add insurance and normally add signature on delivery. And I have said that before. You have to add signature and delivery for items more than $750 to be covered by seller protection. For example, if I send you, for those in Australia, if you do send an item, you're covered domestically for $100 if you are sending a parcel. depending on what it is, I will increase that. I'll normally pay the couple of dollars extra to pay the insurance. I'm in band 5. I want to make sure that I'm covered from anything if anything goes wrong. Case in point, the lava lamp. So just be very, very, very mindful of keeping an eye on the Australia Post website, just to keep an eye on any disruptions. Same thing with Canada, in the sense that when the Canadian postal strike happened last year, they did wear it, so they did give you your money back through Australia Post, but that's the exception to the rule. I've never ever seen that before. So be very, very, very mindful. I'll keep repeating this, but I can't stress enough. You need to be very on top of this. It is your business. You need to make sure you run it properly. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time.